Well, hello everybody. It is 6 p.m. here in Texas, and that means it's time for live with me, the Stampmaven, on Maven Monday. I'm sure you'll all be thrilled to know that I survived Snowmageddon 2022 last year. Oh my goodness. It went on for days and it was a mess. This year, it was just a couple of days, but we didn't get nearly as much snow and ice as last year, although around the neighborhood and on the major street coming into my neighborhood, boy, lots of tree branches have fallen everywhere. We had to work from home Thursday and Friday, which was kind of nice, not driving. But hey, I am ready to roll, and I have got a peekaboo fun fold card to show you today. I hope that maybe you saw the one that I posted on Facebook. I actually made it yesterday for our CFO, who is a male, and I wanted you to see sometimes, we make so many cards for our girlfriends or mom, but a lot of times those guys get shortchanged. So I used our elegant punch and paper, Simply Elegant, I think the paper's called, because I wanted to make something a little fancy for him. And then I actually had a sticker from all my kitchen sink stamping supplies, so I had to get that in there too, right? Well, I'm glad you're all here with me. And remember, if you have a question, go ahead and ask it. If I see it, I'll answer it live. If I don't, I will answer it after the video. Okay? Let's turn this camera around and we will get started. Okie dokie, here we go. Well, I think my little granddaughter might have popped in this evening. So if you're here, Landry, hello, Gee says hi. Okay, so here is the card we're going to do. Let me show you this sample. Let me pop open the card here. There is the first part. I haven't written anything here. And then you open it up here. So you've got our little peekaboo card here that gives you sort of the beginning of the card, and then there's more inside. So let me show you sample number 2. And this is the one I'm actually going to be putting together for you. Hey, Miss Maria. Whoops, so here's the peekaboo part. And do you see here, I've included a little Nothing Bundt Cake gift card. In there, that's my little pocket. Happy birthday to a sweet friend. Well, of course, our little Buntini is sweet. And then here's the inside. So there's plenty of room to write on that. So the designer series paper that I'm using is from the Pansy Patch suite. And you've got beautiful flowers on one side and then the stripes on the back. It all coordinates so nicely. Then this is the stamp set, Pansy Patch. And then this To a Sweet Friend, I use the sweet as a peach. That's one of the great things about Stampin' Up! Is everything coordinates, so you don't have to worry about your colors matching. Now, the card that I'm going to construct for you tonight, it is not hard to do. It takes a little time to put it together, and of course, you can make it as simple or as fancy as your taste decides you want it to be. So I'm starting with a piece of 10.5 lengthwise by 5.5 the width, and I've scored it at 4.25 and 8.5. Now, this is our soft succulent paper. Then what I'm going to do, of course, is I want to burnish this. And I'm going to do it both ways. I do that when I'm making my cards because when you go to mail it, they will end up being flatter than if you just do it on one end. So there is the outside. Now I'm going to just give you the measurements for everything else because I've done some of it ahead because most of you already have stamped a while, so I figure we can just hit the highlights here. So this piece, I use the same color, and it is 7 lengthwise by 3. It's scored at 3.5, and then you fold it, right? Now, I stamped on the inside here without putting the little white part that I did on this card. I just wanted to show you there's more than one way. And I used a little strip of the DSP here just to create a little more interest, and it's the same pattern. So let's set these aside. Now, for the insides, on the smaller card, I used the basic white, and it is 3.25 by 2.75. And what I did is I just stamped using fresh freesia and then our polished pink. And I just used, let me show you what I used in the stamp set. I used these two images right here. So this is this, and then the darker color with that one. And that's how I got this. The freesia to me was lighter and the polished pink was the dark. So again, that was 3.25 by 2.75. If you want two pieces or you want your piece on the front, which we are going to use, then you would need to cut 2. So let me just get out my favorite adhesive, my mono multi-liquid glue. I just call it green glue, guys. And most of you who have stamped with me for a while know that's what I call it. And when I say green glue, I think everybody knows what I'm talking about. All right, and the cool thing, it dries clear. So even if you get a little on the edge, you won't see it once it's dry. All right, so we're going to take, I've already stamped this with the happy birthday. So I'm going to put that on the front of our little peekaboo part. So let's go ahead and get that, just a little bit of the glue there. And we're going to put that right on here, like this. And I think I've told you this before. One of the reasons that I love the liquid glue is if you do happen to get it off just a little bit, you can move it around. So Maria, when I stamped the lighter image first, and then I did the darker on top. You really could do it either way, and you'll notice here it is not totally even. I didn't stamp it exactly on all of them. I did on a couple of them. Now, if I'd wanted it to be exactly even, I would have used my Stamparatus stamp positioning tool, and then that way when you use that tool, it'll be perfect every time. Maybe next Monday I'll bring that out again and we can play with that if you've not seen that. Okay, so here are my little pansies that I have cut out ahead of time. And there's my other leaf. I've got a couple of leaves, and I thought I had 3. You know, I've moved this stuff from my stamping table, so I might have dropped the second one, but you know what? It doesn't matter. So what we're going to do is we're going to just start layering these onto the front. So let's just put a little glue here, and I'm not going to put it out to the edge yet because I want to be able to stick those leaves under there where I want them. All right, so I'm going to put a little adhesive on this one, and I'm going to just stick it right under here. Really doesn't matter where you put the leaves. Okay, then I'm going to put this one on top, and you could use dimensionals if you wanted, but I am going to be mailing this card and I want it to be flat, so I'm not going to use dimensionals. Now you can see here I actually stamped this pansy, but this one I used the die that coordinates it, and I actually cut it out from the coordinating paper that goes with this. That's one thing that I love, love, love about Stampin' Up! How all of the products just coordinate beautifully. So when you purchase like one suite, you're getting products that you can use with many other ones. Okay, so I like to kind of place it before I get my glue on there, and then I know exactly where it's going to be. Okay, so there is the front. Now, if you wanted to, and let's just go ahead and do that, you could take a couple of little rhinestones here, and let me grab my scissors here. I do have several pair of Stampin' Up! Paper snips, but for some reason I acquired these contraband scissors, so I keep them right here on my desk to use as well, on my stamping table, actually, not my desk. All right, so then let's put one here, and let's put one more. You know, you usually want to put 3, 5, 7, some odd number on there because it is just generally more pleasing to the eye. All right, now remember this, here's our card base. So I've cut more of the Designer Series paper, and those measurements are, the largest piece is 4 by 5 1/4, which is just the size that you would use for a card layer on the inside. And this little piece is 1 1/4 by 5 1/4. So let's go ahead and get that down. So we are going to pop that right on here. Okay, and then we're going to go and get this smaller piece that's going to be on here, right here. Don't you sometimes just get in the mood to make a little bit of a fancier card than just a regular, what I call a regular greeting card? That's why I like to show you guys these fancy folds, because they let you step up your game a bit. Okay, now the inside is still a little bland, so I've got my inside pieces, which are also 4 by 5 1/4. And on this one, notice I've stamped using my fresh freesia purple, my polished pink, but I've also added a little bit of bumblebee on the top and right there in the center using other pieces of that stamp set. Now, you can put this on either side that you want. I am going to do it like this, and this is going to go to a friend of mine, my best friend in California. I have known her since, believe it or not, I was 16 years old. Gosh, that is a long time. All right, but it's so neat that we have remained friends all these years. Do y'all have friends like that maybe you've been friends with since high school? Okay, so there we go. We've got the inside, we've got our designer series pieces, and we've got the outside. Now, last thing we need is to get our ribbon. I wanted to show you with this designer series paper, and actually with most, if not all, of the paper that Stampin' Up! Sells. Look, there are so many different colors in here. You could use, this is our pale papaya. This is soft succulent. You could use white. You could use evening evergreen. You could use bumblebee. You could use crushed curry, polished pink. And you could even, if you wanted to, you could put your ribbon on and use 2 different kinds of it and tie it to even jazz it up. Today, I'm just going to use our soft succulent. So, first step is I'm going to wrap this around my card so that it's fairly even, and you'll see why in just a minute. Now, you can either take your adhesive and just put it down, or you can take Scotch tape. That works just as well because you're not going to see it. So I'm actually going to use my seal on that to make sure that ribbon stays where it is. Sorry that our landline is ringing in the background. It's probably a spammer. We get so much of those people calling us, or so many, I should say, that it's annoying. All right, then I'm going to place this right down here on the front. And I'm going to turn it over and I'm going to take my bone folder and just run this over the back so that I know that ribbon is very secure. Okay? Then all you would do is make yourself a fun little bow here using whatever technique you like. I like to use the bunny ear technique where I make 2 loops like bunny ears, and then I just pull that other loop through like this, and then I have got a cool bow right on the outside. And this one, since this is not that thick, it lies perfectly flat, then last thing I would do is trim off these ends just a wee bit. And now there's your peekaboo part, and then someone gets this card and they're like, what's here? So they untie the ribbon and come up. And you know what? I oafed up and I did something the wrong way that I should not have done. Of course, you only want to get your ribbon right here, under this part, right here. You don't want to glue this down because then they can't open it. That's what happens when I talk too much. So all I would do is probably just take this off and put another little piece on here. You can also just take your little, do you have one of these? Stampin' Up! Used to sell them. These little squares, they remove adhesive, and you can just remove that. And probably nobody will be the wiser. So let's pretend that you didn't see that. But hey, that shows you, contrary to popular belief, I do make mistakes from time to time. Okay, so there would be your bow or your knot, and they open it up. There's the inside of the card. But it would be very easy to take this off and just put another piece of cardstock on there so you wouldn't ruin the whole card, right? We don't want to take all that time and then ruin the card. Well, what do you think? Do you like that peekaboo fun fold card? Let me show you something real quick before we go. I am in a swap group, and this month's theme, well, actually we're meeting next month, but I like to get mine done ahead. We are doing a card with flowers. It can be birthday, sympathy, thinking of you, whatever. This is my card. What do you think? I am really enjoying making black card bases, and then I've just pulled in a piece of the DSP, a coordinating piece. Of course, it's purple, fresh freesia. And then right here, I made my little sentiment piece, stamped the same flower on here in fresh freesia, then stamped my hello in black, added some little embellishments. This piece I embossed. It's the time-worn embossing folder. What I love about this card, these pieces right here are both 3x4. You can make this type of a card with any of your designer series paper. Whatever colors you like. And here's what I did. Here's the tag, the little sentiment piece from my Tasteful Labels. So this is the one that I'm stamping on. Then I also just did a black one. I cut it in half there, and then I put the top of it behind here, and then the bottom of it, after I cut it, goes right here. Don't you think that adds just a little pop to that card? This, you wonder which set this is from? It is from the Celebration stamp set that is called, let me see here. Let me find that for you. Let me grab my Celebration book. It's called something Hello. Can somebody help me out there? I don't have that right in front of me, and I've got it packed up to go with me on my stamp club. Hold on one sec. I'll get it. Okay, here we go. It's called Friendly Hello, okay? And I used this stamp right here. That's what made this little flower right here. And the Designer Series paper comes with it. So when you spend $100, you get the Friendly Hello stamp set and you get the paper. Now, my stamp club this month, Carol, if you happen to be watching, you guys are going to make this one using the same technique, different stamp set, different greeting, I should say, that actually is from a different stamp set, but same concept, using black and then your DSP and then a little bit of ribbon. Now on this one, I didn't use the ribbon. So I just love this because it is so versatile. And of course, if you don't already have a demonstrator, or if you're not a demonstrator, I would love to be yours and have you order from me and get your free celebration stuff. Well, alrighty, guys, you have a wonderful night, and I will see you next Monday.